Ashe! Greetings, a grand rising and a grand day to you all once again. Yes, you all my fellow natural native earthly humans. And welcome to this part, 18 of my series of talks or presentation, whatever it may be to you. Another perspective, an analysis, an interpretation of the very famous prose poem called Desiderata. I tell you, earlier in the presentation, earlier in my previous parts or part of the series, I recommended that you listen to Desiderata, or you purchase a copy. It's a beautiful piece of literature to have at your disposal. One you can read every day. For me, every time I read it, something new comes. Such a beautiful piece of literature by Max Ehrmann, the late Max Ehrmann, Desiderata. Yes, you don't know that it is yours truly, I, the Mystic P, the Mystic Philosopher, along with my companion. Yes, this is my old bass guitar. And if you listen carefully in the background, yes, you'll hear my recorded chirping sounds, bird sounds. Yes, chirping and echoing the melodious, natural healing. I think everyone should have these sounds. You can sleep with it. Trust me, man, it's beautiful. The natural, melodious, echoing sounds, natural healing, comforting, soothing, therapeutic sounds in the background, in the foreground, and all around. Yours truly, I, the Mystic P. Now, if you haven't yet watched from part 1 to part 17 of this series of talks, I will suggest that you please do so even before watching this part 18. If you just come across this or decide to listen to yours truly for the first time, I see this guy talking all the time. You know, when I used to play, a lot of people used to have fun, but I know a lot of people don't like talking. But for the few of you who like listening, as Desiderata will tell you later on when we get to that part of it, the importance of and how good it is to listen sometime, even to the dull and ignorant. But we're gonna get there. Let me not go ahead of myself. So if this is the first time you come across this, it is a series, so you can just go back to part 1. It's right here posted on YouTube. Start watching from part 1 to this part 17 before you even watch part 18. And I guarantee you'll get something out of it. It will, it will provoke you to even think a little differently and maybe hear things a little differently from yours truly, I, the Mystic P. These are my perspective. We don't have to agree, but we'll just come now. Let us reason. Let us share thoughts. And let us. You never know. One hand wash the other. Yes. So, at the end of part 17, I promised, as I did at the end of part 16, and as it is my custom, that I will continue to share with you some more of my perspectives, my analysis and insights and interpretation of stanza 1 of Desiderata. Note, I haven't gone further than stanza 1 yet, and I'm just halfway through stanza 1. And the inspiration, the thoughts, they're just flowing so deep, that deep highly philosophical, a very profound poem, Desiderata, especially if you're reading it, listening to it from that spiritual, metaphysical perspective. And stanza one said, "Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence." So far, we just be on go placidly amid the noise and haste. And remember what peace there may be in silence. We'll get into that shortly. And how, if you've been listening, if you go from part one, you'll find out how I, the Mystic Philosopher, from my perspective, think or show you how it correlates. This stanza one, "Go placidly amid the noise and haste," I show how it correlates with the ancient scriptures that is found in the Adamic Race History and Holy Book called the Christian Holy Bible, and in the Book of Books, or the book called Proverbs, that said, "Train a child," and I quote, "train a child in the way that he or she should go, and when he or she is old, he or she will not depart from it." Or another translation say the same thing, but with different words: "Direct your children onto the path, onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it." And also, my incorporation of Dr. Dorothy Law Null poem that said, "Children learn what they live." And just to quickly recap two of the many important points that I mentioned and emphasized in part 17, points which from my perspective can be directly attributed to the state of chaos, destruction, crime, violence, confusion, and wars, etc., that we as a society, as a people, as a society, and as the world in general are experiencing today. And these 2 points are the lack of praise and the lack of appreciation that were imparted to us from our parents while we were children, and the lack of praise and appreciation that we in turn impart to our children. Remember, I told you elsewhere that from my perspective, we came to be here in this reality with nothing. We came here with nothing. And that we came to receive something. Of course, came with nothing to receive something. And then to leave from here just as we came with nothing. Very important in one of my poems called "I'm Nothing." Nothing to something and back to nothing. And the cyclic journey continues. I also told you that we can only give from what we have received. From that something that we have received. Or we can only give what we have received, aka what we possess. We only can give what we receive, or from what we receive, or from what we possess. Be it mental, spiritual, physical, financial, or otherwise. In other words, what we have, which is also known as what we possess, is what we have received. We come with nothing, so anything we have is what we receive here. Nothing less and nothing more. And that is the only thing we can give from or share with. Therefore, it is only logical to conclude that we cannot give or we cannot pass on the thing called love, justice, peace, or the things called love, justice, peace, or respect to our children or to anyone or anything else for that matter. If we did not receive love, justice, and respect from our parents, from our guardians, teachers, and society in general, our society, etc. If we never receive, we can't give what we don't have. And by the same token, we cannot give our past on praise and appreciation to our children, and by extension to the world, if we did not receive praise and appreciation as children ourselves. And to further emphasize that point, I quote Dr. Dorothy's Law's poem titled Children Learn What They Live. And remember, I emphasize that if children live, from Dr. and I quote, if children live with praise, they will learn appreciation. And yes, and it is evident, as I explained in the previous part, that one of the reasons why we have so much murder, so much killing, so much disrespect, so much, you name it, for life, is because of this lack of praise. Yes, not flattery, praise and appreciation as children. And thus, my perspective, analysis, insights, and interpretation continue. Now, and I quote again from Dr. Dorothy's poem. If children, and I quote, if children live with hostility, they learn to fight. Unquote. Hostility, they learn to fight. Now, how many of us, parents and adults, that can honestly say that we did not live with or we did not experience hostility in our home by by our own parents? Some of us has experienced seeing our parents fight like some very untamed animals. Some of us have seen and heard our parents cursing each other and using some of the most profane and derogatory words to describe each other. Some of us have seen, some of us have even seen our parents physically hurting and abusing each other, or even worse, hostility. Some of us, all that we grew up knowing in our household was hostility. All we knew was hostile argument, a hostile and a dysfunctional home or a dysfunctional house, because a home, which I will explain later on, is different from a home. Some of us, though we may be brought up in some big house, even called mansion, it wasn't a home, it was just a big house. So now you know why we are so hostile towards one another and so aggressive with each other. And now you know why we love to fight and kill each other. And also why our children today are so hostile and aggressive towards each other and even towards society. Remember, children learn what they live. Now, this is going to be the end of part 70 for today. This is going to be the end. Just got in from the gym. Trust me, the clothes is drying on me. And I'm running out of time. That's not this. I'm running out of time. I don't want to run it too long. So please stay tuned to this channel called what? The Mystic P Acoustically. And join me again tomorrow for part 18. And that is, and I keep emphasizing, take it serious, that is if I am gifted with another day and one in which I continue to experience and full joy, good health, abundant life, freedom, safety, peace of mind, and good relationships with people like you all, my listeners and my well-wishers. Please join me tomorrow when and where I will continue to share with you some more of my perspective, my analysis, insights, and interpretation. Still on stanza 1 of Desiderata. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. And how, from my perspective, it correlates with the ancient scriptures in the book of Proverbs that said, train up a child in the way that he or she should go, and when he or she is old, they will not depart from it, or direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. and also my incorporation of Dr. Dorothy Law's poem, Children Learn What They Live. In the meantime and between time, I ask that you please continue to think, continue to meditate, and continue to contemplate on the word placidly in in Mark Ehrmann's instruction to his daughter, in Desiderata, which is Mark Ehrmann's instruction to his daughter. So I'm talking about so much about children and training. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. And lively up yourself in the meantime, lively up yourself, full joy, and be more and more and much, much more. And definitely, I don't want you to be, I don't ask that you be less, but that you be more and more and much, much more. For I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.